Sports Snippets! Dennis Sullivan, how in the world are you doing here on a Sunday afternoon? It is the 2nd of May. Just happy to be here to talk with you and discuss a little Miami Heat, an update as to what's going on. The Heat are victorious Saturday night with a 124-107 victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Want to talk about that as well. If you do like the content of this particular video, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. That would be awesome. Feel free to subscribe as well to my channel, Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. Hit that notification bell for future video updates as well, guys. So let's get into it. The Heat are victorious. Big win for them as the season is just winding down. It is winding down. It is the crunch time. Heat are trying to avoid that play-in situation, get into one of the top 6 seeds. Well, really, you're looking for 4, 5, or 6 because we all know 1, 2, and 3 seeds are going to be Nets, Sixers, Bucks. Everyone knows that at this point. But it's just a matter of trying to get that 6th or maybe even 5th seed, or who knows if the Knicks were to just start losing, potentially the 4th. But Knicks have been looking pretty good lately. They get the job done Saturday night. There were some things, and it's funny how when I do these videos, it's funny because I was just saying to myself right before starting this video, really, that every now and then I do a Miami Heat video, and it's like, okay, things have changed in just a few short days, more so than the norm. And I think when you look at the way things are kind of trending and the identity of this team, things certainly are changing. And I'm not saying it's for the worse at all. It could very well be for the better, but in terms of like the identity of this team, where this team's going, I think Saturday night definitely told us a fair amount, if not a lot, on Saturday night. So let's get into it, guys. I want to start with TOs, meaning turnovers. The turnover battle was clearly won by the Heat on Saturday night against the Cavaliers, 18-8. Heat do a good job, only turning the ball over 8 times. That's a nice advantage. If you can win the turnover battle by 10, as the Heat did on Saturday night, you're doing a pretty good job in that department. So that was key, and I really do believe at this stage of the game, this is a big statistic, a big team statistic that the Heat look to win. I'm going to get into that a little bit deeper in just a moment, but that we got to keep our eye on that very closely, the turnover battle over the next few weeks as we head into the 2021 NBA postseason. Next up, guys, Strus with the exclamation point. So that's Max Strus. I tell you what, this is, I look at this as a good thing. It has come at the expense, though, of others not really playing, which that part I'm not happy about, because I liked KZ Okpala's, I liked his progression in terms of his overall game and his improvement, along with Precious Achiuwa, who's a very young player, and we're just not seeing them play anymore. We are seeing Strus get a lot more time, as was the case Saturday night. So if this is what works, guys, that's what works. I noticed on Saturday night, Strus adds a little extra in the hustle, dive on a loose ball kind of category. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of these guys, he's going to roll up his sleeves. Not that the other guys won't, but Strus is one of these, you got to have him around in the playoffs. Maybe that's what Coach Spoelstra is seeing in Max Strus. He's seeing a guy that kind of gives you those intangibles, won't always light it up in the box score. He's not going to score 25 points and grab 10 rebounds or anything like that. But he's going to help the team in other ways. So that is interesting. And that's a developing story, is the playing time of Max Strus. Next up, boards. Well, the Heat would lose the battle of the boards Saturday night against Cleveland, but we'll take it because it was just by very little. It's 39-37. Virtually even on the boards. As I mentioned, I was getting the turnovers a few moments ago. Wanted to touch on that a few moments ago a little deeper. So if we look at items 1 and 3, turnovers and boards, That is key, how that's balanced out. Because if you look at the Heat, and I know my big criticism of the Miami Heat is that they just play too small. They play too small, and they really do. They really do, guys. I mean, their lineups are ridiculously small. And if you look at the bench, I mean, Dedmon plays like 14 minutes on Saturday. That's basically your bench in terms of big guys playing other than the starting five. So, unless, Iguodala, okay, he'll help you on the boards a little bit too, but it's turnovers and boards. So here's what I'm getting at, guys. The Heat are looking to, the way I'm seeing it, they just want to compete on the boards. In other words, they'll keep it even on the boards or close to even. I think they look at that as a victory because what they're ultimately trying to do is they're trying to turn over the other team a little bit more. They know they have definitely an above-average three-point shooting team, if not one of the better three-point shooting teams in the Eastern Conference. So those other intangibles, those other categories, if you will, tend to favor the Heat. Turnovers, three-point shooting, okay? Depth in a sense, even though I liked our bench last year a little bit better than this year. So they're ultimately, as I'm thinking this through every day, I'm like, why do the Heat play so small? I think I'm starting to scratch the surface of an answer, and that answer is we'll go ahead and sacrifice some rebounds, keep it kind of close in that department, keep it competitive, lose 39-37 in the rebound department, but we'll win in other areas, and that is what's been going on, guys. As a fan, I've just been sitting here, I think like many other fans, just kind of scratching my head and saying, what's going on here? But I really do believe that ultimately is what is going on here, and that ultimately is the strategy. Hey, you know what? We can beat these teams in other areas. We're just going to have to sacrifice a little bit of our effectiveness down low. Bench, question mark. Okay. Before I get into the breakdown of the Cleveland game in terms of who the statistical leaders were, the bench, here's the thing, guys. Last year, when the Heat went to the NBA Finals, won the Eastern Conference, in my opinion, they had arguably the best bench in the entire NBA. If not, one of the top 2 or 3 benches. They had a tremendous bench. This year, they still have one of the better benches in the NBA. The only problem is injuries have factored in. The consistency hasn't been there. So right now, I just can't say that. I can't say the bench is as good this year as it was last year. I just can't say. I want to say that, but I just can't say that. Ultimately, that's really what's going to have to work out for the Heat and solidify a little more as well is the bench rotation. There's still time. Still a little bit of time, right? What do we got? About 8 games left in the regular season. Better late than never. So let's move into the win versus Cleveland a little bit more. Both teams shot really well. Heat shot 54% from the field. Cleveland shot 50%. So if you're an offensive fan, you like the offense, you like shooting the ball well, you like watching that, as most of us do, this was a good game to watch. He came out a little sluggish, though. I was watching this game at home. He come out sluggish, allow a ton of points in the first quarter. I'm sitting there going, oh, no, this is like, oh, no, here's the game that, I could see it now. This is going to put us in the play-in now. We're going to be playing like Indiana to see if we get into the playoffs, basically. But they shot the ball well. Both teams did. And from 3, both teams were ridiculously effective from 3-point range. Both teams. I mean, the Heat were 18 for 36, 50%. That's tremendous. And the Cleveland Cavaliers were 20 for 40, 50%. Both teams shoot 50% from 3 while putting up a good number of threes, 20 for 40 and 18 for 36. That's tremendous. You don't see that every day, guys. That was tremendous. Jimmy Butler led the way at 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for the Heat. Technically, Trevor Ariza was the high scorer, though. Butler would add 2 steals. Ariza, as mentioned, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal and a block. Played very well. Bam had a double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals for Bam. Great job. Kendrick Nunn continues. He was the high scorer, actually. I said Trevor Ariza. I'm sorry. Kendrick Nunn continues to play well at the offensive end for the Heat. He has just been consistent as well. 22 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals for Kendrick Nunn. Looking for a shot, playing very aggressively on the offensive end. Duncan Robinson would add 20 points as well for the Heat. Dragic off the bench, played well again. Wasn't scoring like he was the other night, but still played well. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Strus, as mentioned, 17 for Strus. 4 rebounds. He added 2 assists and 2 steals. Iguodala was good off the bench as he normally is. Overall, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Dwayne Dedmon had 2 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. Played about 14 minutes. This is one of those games, as I was saying. I mean, one game he's at like 17 and 9. The next game he's at 2 points, 4 rebounds. That's kind of what we're seeing, but hey, we'll take it because those games where Dedmon is just on his game tremendously helps the Heat. There was a Precious Achiuwa sighting. He would play 1 minute and 40 seconds along with KZ Okpala. So they both played 1 minute and 40 seconds, so we know they're still on the roster, guys. They're still on the roster. No statistics to register due to the lack of playing time. Gabe Vincent also played that same minute 40 seconds. He did tally a rebound in his brief appearance. C.D. Osman would score 15 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and a steal. Played really well for Cleveland. He's a nice player. I really like him. Kevin Love with a game-high 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Love was all over the basket, all around the basket, all over, I should say, the rim instead of the basket. He was all over the rim on several offensive possessions. He was looking for the putbacks. Kevin Love was a big factor in this game. He was very effective. Jared Allen would have 14 rebounds. So, you know, the Cavs kind of played into the Heat weakness in that they're just not the greatest team on the interior. Allen would also add 6 points, 2 assists, and a block. Colin Sexton, 25 points as well, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. Colin Sexton was amazing. He played really well. Isaac Okoro, 11 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. Dean Wade. Now, it's funny, you know, as a longtime Miami Heat fan, you hear Wade from the corner, and you're thinking, oh no, what's going on here? Is he back? Dean Wade from the Cleveland Cavaliers, 18 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Damian Dotson added 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Fiando Cabin Jelly, I hope I got that right, blocked a shot as well. Hope I got his name right there. Blocked a shot as well for Cleveland. And last but not least, Broderick Thomas added 2 points, a rebound, 2 assists, and a blocked shot. So, guys, it's Charlotte Sunday night. I'll come back in a few days. We'll do another update and talk about what the heck's going on. But the Heat need this one against Charlotte on the road. This is going to be a tough one. As I make this video, that game will be starting in a few short hours from now. So the Heat need to keep this going, need to avoid the play-in. Come on, we're better than that. We should be in the top 6. There are some good teams this year, but I think, as I mentioned last time, Atlanta's kind of in an unfair manner, unfairly so. Atlanta is, I think, the most vulnerable team now because of the problems they've had with injuries and the health of key players. So that does put them at a disadvantage. There might be an opportunity there for the Heat. Let's hope so, guys. So leave me a comment. We're going to talk again soon. This is Dennis Sullivan saying bye for now. Let's go Heat.